The movie begins with two girls, Emma and Sis, recording a video in which they both claim to have been best friends since birth and promise that they will always be together. The scene abruptly changes to 12 years later, where we find Sis transformed into an adult named Cecilia. Now an Instagram influencer, she promotes mental health and supports her followers with their personal dilemmas. She has achieved remarkable success, accumulating 200,000 fans who adore her. However, in her daily life, Cecilia feels lonely, with the approval of her followers being her main source of joy. In the next scene, Cecilia is at a pharmacy when she unexpectedly runs into Emma. In reality, the childhood best friends have grown apart and have not been in touch for a long time. Visibly nervous, Cecilia listens as Emma animatedly speaks, confessing that she is engaged to a woman named Fran and that she will be getting married soon. Emma invites Cecilia to her engagement party. Although she hesitates at first, after several insistences from Emma, Cecilia finally accepts. After parting ways, Cecilia recalls the impact of growing old together in a nursing home and the fact that they had buried a time capsule during their childhood. That night, Cecilia attends Emma's engagement party where everyone drinks and enjoys singing karaoke. However, she feels uncomfortable and out of place because she struggles with social interactions and rarely leaves home. Later, an intoxicated Emma drags Cecilia onto the stage and introduces her as her childhood best friend. The two sing together, but the situation becomes embarrassing when Emma vomits on Cecilia's clothes. While trying to clean her clothes in the bathroom, Cecilia encounters Fran. Concerned about making Fran uncomfortable, Fran assures her that it's not a problem. Emma apologizes to Cecilia for the vomit incident and expresses her joy at reuniting after so long. She also invites Cecilia to her bachelorette party the following weekend, which will take place in a location away from the city. Despite her insecurities, Cecilia accepts. Later, while returning home, Cecilia browses Emma's Instagram, looking for photos and videos of the event, and soon notices that Emma has shared many images with another girl named Alex, with whom she appears to be very close. This displeases her, as she recalls having had issues with Alex in her childhood. Cecilia returns to the place where they buried the time capsule and retrieves an old box. At home, upon opening it, she finds a camera that they had kept. Playing videos from her childhood that date back 15 years fills her with joy. In one of the videos, the girls are seen wearing pink wigs, which leads her to buy pink dye and dye her hair the next morning. She packs for the trip and meets up with Emma and her friends, including Fran and two others named Tracy and Jay, who assign her the task of driving, which she accepts without hesitation. While traveling, Fran mentions that Alex will be waiting for them at the villa, which both surprises and frightens Cecilia, as she remembers how Alex and her friends used to bully her at school. Distracted by these memories, Cecilia accidentally runs over a kangaroo. The group quickly gets out of the car and notices that the kangaroo is gravely injured. Fran suggests ending the animal's suffering in the most compassionate way, but no one dares to do it. Finally, Fran takes the initiative and puts the poor marsupial out of its misery. Shortly after, they arrive at a luxurious villa in the middle of the forest, determined to celebrate throughout the weekend. As they enter, the friends are eager to continue the festivities, while Cecilia feels insecure and excluded, observing from behind a wall and feeling out of place. The situation becomes awkward when she crosses paths with Alex, who becomes furious upon seeing Cecilia and immediately pulls Emma aside for a private conversation. Nervously, Cecilia watches from a distance, unable to hear what is being said. Later, visibly upset, Alex hands Cecilia some pillows, indicating that she must sleep on the sofa because all the rooms are occupied. While the group sits watching television, Cecilia feels lonely and disconnected from everything, so she goes to the bathroom and repeats positive affirmations to boost her confidence. She then returns and gives Emma the time capsule box as a pre-wedding gift. Inside it are several significant objects from their childhood, which makes Emma very happy and excited. Subsequently, Cecilia plays a wedding video on the TV, which Emma watches with amusement. However, Alex abruptly turns off the television, stating that dinner is ready. This disappoints Cecilia and seems to disillusion Emma as well. Through a flashback, we see that Emma and Alex were very close in their childhood. Alex even gave Emma a best friend necklace. Shortly after, Emma informs everyone that Cecilia is a renowned influencer with 200,000 followers. Fran asks if she works as a model, and Cecilia clarifies that she is more dedicated to promoting mental health. The group expresses their disapproval, except for Alex, who starts calling her names. However, Cecilia corrects her, pointing out that her name isn't as Alex mistakenly calls it. Suddenly, Alex makes a sarcastic comment about the irony of seeing Cecilia talk about mental health, given what she did in the past. This makes Cecilia feel terrible, and she leaves the table. Later in the bathroom, Cecilia begins reading positive comments on her Instagram to calm herself down. Soon after, Emma appears to apologize for what happened, on the verge of breaking down. Cecilia cries and mentions that she is trying to heal from her past. Emma shows understanding and tells her that Alex is a disorganized person who has made many mistakes over time, reminding her that what happened was an accident and that at that time they were just children who did not understand what they were doing. She advises Cecilia to overcome that episode and enjoy the present. Upon waking the next morning, Cecilia realizes that everyone has left the villa. She finds a letter from Emma informing her that Emma is near a waterfall and includes a map. Cecilia hurries to the indicated location. When she finally arrives, she hears them talking about her and decides to hide behind a tree. She accidentally hears Alex calling her a psycho, and some members of the group seem upset about Emma's decision to invite an odd person to her bachelorette party. In a flashback, it is revealed that after burying the time capsule, Alex mocked Cecilia by saying that Emma was her only best friend. This deep wound triggers further childhood ridicule from Alex. In the present, Emma asks Alex not to give too much importance to what happened, reminding her that she was the one who bullied Cecilia. However, Alex remains unmoved and recounts something that Cecilia did in the past, which surprises everyone, and Jai comments on the irony of Cecilia talking about mental health considering what she did. The group decides to go for a picnic in the forest. Meanwhile, Cecilia recalls how Alex and her friends used to mock her in childhood while singing Sis. And shortly after, Alex discovers that Cecilia is hiding behind a tree and incites her to come out. Anxiously, Cecilia slowly approaches and apologizes for their previous fight, sincerely expressing regret and wishing to reconcile. However, Alex, filled with fury, tells her to stop acting and calls her a psycho. Then, Alex takes Cecilia's phone and begins recording, demanding that she confess to her followers what she did in the past. In the silence that follows, Alex records herself stating that her favorite influencer is a psycho, revealing that Cecilia once tried to kill her and showing a scar on her face as proof. Concerned, Cecilia tries to retrieve her phone, which leads to a struggle between the two. Alex attempts to upload the video on Instagram, and Cecilia falls to the ground. A flashback follows from their childhood, showing a furious Cecilia hitting Alex in the face with a garden shovel, convincing herself that it wasn't her fault. In the present, Cecilia believes that Alex is dead and drags her body into the forest while crying. However, upon removing the necklace, her attitude drastically changes, and she decides to go live on Instagram as if nothing had happened. Cecilia tells her followers that she has been enjoying nature and meditating, when suddenly Jay appears, panicking because he needs to urinate. Unaware of what he is doing, Jay accidentally urinates on what is supposed to be Alex's grave. Afraid that her secret will be discovered, Cecilia comes out of hiding and distracts Jay. Seeing the covered grave, Jay asks what happened, and she responds that he tripped. She then tries to convince him to leave, but as Jay slips and discovers the grave, he panics, begins running, and Cecilia chases him down, cornering him on a cliff. She claims that it was Alex who attacked him and that she only defended herself. However, Jay suggests that maybe she could have sought help. Amid tears, Cecilia confesses that she heard comments about her and thought that no one would ever believe her. In another part of the forest, Emma searches for Alex and hears the sound of her phone in a bag in the stream. As she tries to reach it, the strong current carries the phone away. At that moment, Cecilia panics because of what happened with Jay, so she begins reading positive comments to calm herself down. The scene shifts to sunset. Fran is sleeping in a picnic shelter, and Emma finally reaches the shore. Cecilia returns to the villa and finds Tracy alone, watching television. Suddenly, she grabs a stick and injures herself, telling Tracy that Alex attacked her in the forest. A compassionate Tracy helps her with her injuries and prepares a bath for her. In a moment of distress, Cecilia cries while Tracy comforts her, suggesting that maybe Alex wanted revenge. However, this infuriates Cecilia, who insists that she has done nothing wrong. A frightened Tracy tries to leave, but Cecilia grabs her roughly and shouts that she is a good person. In an instant, Tracy's hair gets caught in the drain, and the resulting pressure causes a fatal head injury. Meanwhile, Alex awakens from her shallow grave, revealing that she was only unconscious. Emma continues her search for Alex, but becomes disoriented in the forest. In another scene, Cecilia tries to escape in her vehicle, and just as she crosses paths with Fran, he asks her about Emma. Brusquely, Cecilia replies that if he truly cared, he should know. Suddenly, Cecilia accelerates and confesses that what hurts her most is not having been able to grow old with Emma as they had once planned. Coming to her senses, she realizes that Fran is no longer with her. Confused, Cecilia exits the car and meets Fran elsewhere in the forest. Alex, exhausted, crawls toward Jay's phone, which is visible in the distance. Using the phone's light to illuminate her surroundings, she is horrified to see Jay's mutilated body. Panicking, she calls 911, but is unable to articulate her message properly, only screaming. People track the call, but the phone suddenly shuts off. At the same time, Cecilia returns to the villa looking for Emma but cannot find her. This causes her to lose her sanity, and she begins to act erratically, bursting into laughter while hitting her face with her phone, causing bruises and bleeding. Then she goes on Instagram Live, declaring that a woman named Alex has murdered her friends and is now after her. Moments later, she loses consciousness. In the following scene, Emma arrives at the villa and is shocked to see Cecilia covered in blood. She urgently searches for a first aid kit. However, she suddenly finds Tracy's body hidden under a bed. Cecilia tells her that Alex went insane and tried to kill everyone, but Emma notices the best friend necklace around Cecilia's neck and realizes that she is lying. Although she decides to pretend to believe her, Emma suggests calling the police to report Alex, but Cecilia stops her, insisting that they leave. When Emma regains her senses, she discovers that she is tied to a chair. A video from their childhood is playing on the TV, showing that Cecilia has completely lost her sanity. She has dyed Emma's hair pink and tells her that they are going to recreate their childhood video before going out in search of nail polish. Taking advantage of the situation, Emma cuts her restraints with the best friend necklace, then surprises Cecilia upon her return, leading to a scuffle. However, Cecilia manages to stab her friend with a pair of scissors while she is distracted. Emma seizes the opportunity to call the police, requesting them to come immediately. Realizing what she has done, Cecilia, enraged, grabs a broken vase and attacks Emma for hurting her feelings. The two engage in an intense fight, but Emma manages to overpower Cecilia, beating her brutally until she is nearly out of commission. Dazed by her wound, Cecilia attacks Emma because of her pink hair and repeatedly hits her in the face, disfiguring her. At that moment, Cecilia decides to record the incident with her phone. Later, Alex realizes what has happened and, horrified, is beaten by a police officer who shoots her in the back. The officer approaches Cecilia, who is injured, thinking she is the victim. He asks her not to move and assures her that he will seek help. Sometime later, in the final scene, Cecilia has recovered her life as an influencer. She addresses her fans, recounting that she survived Alex's massacre by following her own advice. In addition, she has written a book about the experience, which has become a bestseller.